It started with the sound of ripping fabric, sharp, final, irreversible. And when I turned the corner, I saw it. The $3,000 quinceañera dress we had picked for Maria, torn down the back, streaked with black permanent marker like a crime scene. My daughter Bethany was standing there, 16 years old, eyes cold, the Sharpie still in her hand. There are moments, as a parent, when your voice catches in your throat, when you're so stunned by what's in front of you that you can't move. This was one of them. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stared at the ruin in front of me and felt the weight of what it meant. Maria's quinceañera was in 2 weeks. This wasn't just a dress. This was the centerpiece of a cultural milestone, a once-in-a-lifetime moment that her father, her mother, her family had been preparing for months, maybe even years. The dress wasn't just fabric. It was tradition. It was identity. It was the look in Maria's eyes when she first tried it on, and now it was destroyed. But to understand how we got here, you have to know the history. Bethany is my oldest. She and I are white. My husband and Maria are of Mexican descent. Bethany and Maria have known each other since they were 6 and 7. They grew up together, shared holidays, family trips. For the most part, they got along. They weren't inseparable, but they were sisters in every way that mattered. 2 years ago, Bethany had her own big moment, a sweet 16 party. It wasn't small. I spent around $4,000 on the venue, the decorations, the friends she wanted to invite. It was her day. And she looked radiant in the dress she chose. She was surrounded by people who loved her. She got the spotlight. Now, it was Maria's turn. Her father and his ex-wife had split the cost of the quinceañera. All told, it would be about $6,000. But the dress alone, with all the fittings and the special underlayers, came to around $3,000. And when I say the dress, I mean one of those breathtaking, floor-length puffed gowns that make a girl feel like she's walking out of a fairy tale. I knew Bethany had been struggling with the attention Maria was getting. She made comments here and there. I tried to reassure her, to remind her she'd had her day. I even bought her her own dress for the party. Something simple and elegant, about $450. The kind of thing a guest would wear. I took extra time with her, hoping she'd feel included. I thought it was enough. It wasn't. 2 weeks before the celebration, Bethany and Maria got into an argument. Over the TV, not about the dress, not about the party, just what to watch. And somewhere between words and silence, Bethany decided to pick up a Sharpie and a pair of scissors and take her jealousy out on Maria's gown. She didn't hide it. She didn't try to cover it up. When I confronted her, she didn't apologize. She was defensive, accused me of choosing Maria over her, said it wasn't fair. I didn't waste time arguing. I handed Maria's parents the money to get a replacement dress, whatever it cost, however quickly they could find it. And then I turned to Bethany and told her she would be paying me back. All of it. Every last cent. I told her to get a job, babysit, work retail, anything. But until that $3,000 was repaid, she wouldn't see a dime of spending money from me. That's when the real fight started. She cried. She shouted. She told me I was a terrible mother, that I was taking Maria's side, that it was unfair to expect her to pay back such a huge amount. But here's the thing. Actions have consequences. And in the real world, destroying someone's property, especially something worth thousands of dollars, can land you in court. In some states, it's a felony. She's 16. in 2 years, she could be charged as an adult. This wasn't just about a party. This was about understanding the line between anger and action, and how once you cross it, you can't go back. I thought about what would happen if Maria weren't her stepsister, if this had been a stranger. The police could have been called. There could have been charges, a record, fines far beyond the cost of the dress. But instead, I chose to shield her from all that. I chose to treat this as a lesson inside our home, instead of letting the world teach her in a courtroom. The next few days were tense. Bethany avoided Maria completely. She avoided me too. Maria stayed quiet, but I could see the hurt in her eyes, the betrayal, the way this one act had cast a shadow over what should have been the happiest day of her teenage years. I knew I couldn't fix that part, but I could make sure Bethany understood the depth of what she'd done. I sat her down again. I told her that paying back the money wasn't a punishment. It was restitution. She had taken something away from Maria, and this was how she made it right. It wasn't about me choosing sides. It was about choosing right over wrong. She didn't like hearing it. I didn't expect her to. As the quinceañera approached, the new dress was ready, beautiful, perfect. But I couldn't shake the thought of how much extra stress, time, and money it had taken to get there. How much unnecessary pain had been caused over something that should have been celebrated by all of us. Bethany still thinks it's unfair. She says I'm the one who ruined things between us by making a big deal out of it. But I keep thinking, if this is how she reacts when the spotlight isn't on her, what happens when life gives her a bigger disappointment? And that's where I'm left, asking myself and the world, so, am I the asshole? As your host, here's what I think. This isn't just a story about a ruined dress. It's about the moment a parent has to decide whether to protect a child from the consequences of their actions, or to let them feel the full weight of them. It's about how jealousy can twist something beautiful into something cruel if you don't catch it early. Bethany will probably remember this as the time her mom made her work for months to pay off a dress she didn't even wear. But I hope she also remembers that it was the moment she learned a line she should never cross again. So I'll leave it to you, the listener. What would you have done? Would you have let her off with a warning, or made her pay every cent? And if you were Maria, would you ever be able to forgive?